Today, we're going to trace the incredible story of a crypto giant, going all the way back to its roots, through the eyes of its founder. Let's dive in.
It really does sound like the setup to a joke, doesn't it? But it's the real question at the heart of the story of Nicholas Kerry, the co-founder of one of the most important companies in the entire crypto space.
And by following his path, we're not just going to understand his story. We're going to get a front-row seat to the evolution of crypto itself, and, just maybe, get a glimpse of where it's all headed next.
Okay, first things first. Let's just get a handle on the sheer scale of what Nicholas Kerry and his team actually built. This isn't just some scrappy startup. We're talking about a global force in the crypto economy.
I mean, look at this. Blockchain.com serves tens of millions of people in over 140 countries. It is one of the oldest and most trusted names out there, and Kerry has been at the helm, navigating the ship since the very beginning.
So the big question is, how did he get there? Well, every journey has a starting point, and his entrepreneurial spark was lit long before he'd ever even heard the word Bitcoin.
You know, as a teenager, he was out there collecting and selling clams, but at the same time, he was building websites for local businesses. He was already seeing a need and creating a solution from scratch. Then, in his early 20s, he's at a tech startup, and he gets this incredible masterclass in how hundreds of different businesses actually work. But the real light bulb moment, that was 2008. The financial crisis wasn't just a news story for him, it was a personal revelation.
This moment just changed everything for him. He saw the traditional financial system as fundamentally broken, and that dissatisfaction, well, it lit a fuse. So when he finally discovered Bitcoin in 2011, he didn't just see a new piece of technology. He saw an answer, a chance to build something better.
But hey, an idea is one thing. Making it something that millions of people can actually use, that is a completely different ballgame. The next chapter in this story is all about bridging that huge gap between a complex technology and the everyday person.
This slide really just says it all. In the beginning, using Bitcoin was incredibly hard. You almost had to be a developer. Blockchain.info, which later became blockchain.com, totally changed the game by creating the first simple, web-based wallet that put control directly into the user's hands.
I love this quote because it really captures the whole mindset. Kerry saw his early users not just as customers, but as trailblazers, the people who were actually building the foundations of a new digital world. His company's job was just to provide them with the best tools for the job. And for Kerry, this was never just about technology. It was about a core philosophy, with the idea of privacy sitting right at its heart. You have to remember, the birth of crypto was a direct response to two massive things: the failure of centralized banks back in 2008 and the rise of digital surveillance. So from day one, it was built on this idea that financial freedom and personal privacy are fundamentally linked.
And this brings us to a crucial concept he calls rational privacy. Now, this isn't about hiding, it's about control. Think of it like this. You want to prove to your landlord that you paid your rent, but you don't want them seeing every other single purchase you made that month. Rational privacy gives you the power to share only the specific transaction you need to without revealing everything else.
And this isn't just a nice to have for regular users. For large institutions, it's an absolute deal breaker. They can't have their every move broadcast on a public ledger for all their competitors to see. Rational privacy is the key that unlocks the door for them, allowing them to participate safely and play by the rules.
Of course, the path wasn't exactly smooth. The crypto world is famously volatile, right? So how does a company survive more than a decade of that chaos? Well, Kerry has some hard-earned wisdom on that exact topic.
Just look at this number, 5. He has steered his company through 5 separate market crashes where 90% of the value is just wiped out. Surviving that takes a lot more than luck. It takes a clear set of principles.
So what's the formula? It's not about some complex trading strategy. It's about having a long-term vision rooted in a few core beliefs, being obsessed with customer care, building a sustainable business, and viewing this whole thing as your life's work. That's the foundation that keeps the business standing through all the storms.
So after more than a decade on the front lines, where does a pioneer like Kerry see things going? Let's take a look at his vision for the future of digital assets. He points to 3 massive trends. First, stablecoins, which are essentially digitized dollars, bringing banking to anyone with a phone. Second, the tokenization of real-world assets, or RWAs, which means turning things like fine wine or property into tradable digital assets. And third, the explosion of AI.
And this is where it gets truly futuristic. Kerry argues that AI and crypto are a perfect match. As AI agents start to operate on their own, they're going to need a native currency to pay for data, electricity, and other services. And he believes that currency will be crypto.
That leads to this absolutely staggering prediction. He believes that in the near future, most online economic activity won't be conducted by humans, but by software programs paying each other. A whole economy of machines running on crypto rails.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty profound question. We've traced this journey from selling clams on a beach to building a global financial platform. And now we're staring at a future where machines might just run the economy. So if that future comes to pass, what's going to be our most valuable contribution?